Greetings everybody, Redbeard here for another edition of Rasslin with Redbeard, the YouTube show where I, Redbeard, take you to a professional wrestling event somewhere in or around the Carolinas to give you a sense for what it's like to be a fan traveling the highways and byways in pursuit of this great passion that is professional wrestling. I will go ahead and confess that I am somewhat lying to you with that introduction in this episode because of the fact that I am nowhere in or around the Carolinas. I am, in fact, about as far removed from the Carolinas as I have ever been while filming one of these episodes. I am actually in Salt Lake City, Utah. Yes, Utah. To give you a brief synopsis of why we're here, my wife sells a product called Jamberry, and their base of operations is here in Utah. Their annual conference was also here in Utah this year, so we're out enjoying the event and also enjoying the town itself. Very beautiful area, kind of a dichotomy in some areas in that you've got all these Crystal Palace type banking buildings, and then a couple of blocks down you've got a slum where people are lying in garbage. But I won't go into all that because you get kind of a political discussion at one point or another there if you're going to go down that road. This is wrestling. We don't talk politics here. We like to beat people with chairs. We don't like to actually just, pretend we want to beat people with chairs. But at any rate, we are here to enjoy a night of professional wrestling action with a promotion called the Wrestling Alliance of the Rockies, otherwise known as War Utah. Pretty cool name, very clever, I'll give them that. Other than that, I really don't have much information to share with you in introing this video and this promotion as a whole. Of course, not familiar with this area, not familiar with the talent here, but I'm really looking forward to it because this is the first real occasion whenever Jill and I have been on vacation or a trip or anything like that where we've been able to actually see a show outside of our normal confines. So it's been really fun to come out here and watch not only the kind of setup as these guys have been getting things together, but also to just be in a different area. So it's pretty cool to be a fan traveling around and have wrestling in mind whenever you're traveling. Obviously, if this was a family event to where, my wife and I had our child with us, might not do this, but an occasion like this where it's just she and I had the opportunity to get away for the evening, she's enjoying dinner with her friends, this was perfect. I was really hoping to find an event out here. I knew in my heart that somebody had to be running a wrestling promotion in Utah while we were out here, and lo and behold, thanks to the good old Twitter machine, some people got in touch with me after I posed the question, and boom, here we are. So, very much looking forward to the show here this evening. Again, have no real expectations for it other than just to have a good time. This is, I think, kind of an in-between card for them. I think they do bring in some pretty well-known drawn talent here occasionally, but this is a program they're calling AFTERSHOCK. I think they've got a bigger event coming up in July, and they might have had a bigger event in May possibly. So we're kind of in between. I don't think there's any big names on the card, but that doesn't matter. We're here to have a good time and enjoy some wrestling with their local talent. I will say that it's been a good little bit since we've recorded one of these episodes. There's just been a lot going on. Life has been busy recently, what can I say? In terms of the shows we've been to here recently, you've got the continuation of Platinum. There's two PCWs in this area, or in the area back home, I should say. We have the continuation of Palmetto Championship Wrestling as they're growing by leaps and bounds, I'll go ahead and say. They've progressed a lot in a short amount of time. I think Champions with Attitude got some bad news because of the fact that it seems as though a lot of the armories in South Carolina are presently being refurbished because of the fact that they have some contaminated elements, we'll say. There's been evidently some discoveries of asbestos and lead paint and stuff like that in those facilities, so their most recent event had to be canceled, and I don't think they've rescheduled anything else, so I have to wait and see what they've got going on in the near future. PWX is still running strong. AML Wrestling has a huge event tomorrow, which this is June 24th, 2017. Don't think I mentioned that in the opening, but that's the date of the show here. They will have a big event tomorrow with the talent from Impact Wrestling making an appearance in sort of an AML versus Impact type presentation. Trying to think of what else we have going on there. That's pretty much it in terms of the big stuff. Nationally, we're still looking at this sort of downturn that WWE has been involved in ratings aren't good right now. It's just not doing what they think it's going to do with some of the creative choices that they've made, and the fact that Lesnar has been gone since WrestleMania, basically. So we'll have to see if it improves whenever they get to a point where the Great Balls of Fire pay-per-view actually happens. Still can't believe in 2017 they've got a pay-per-view called Great Balls of Fire with a rather subtle phallic reference in the logo, nonetheless. But the big thing that I wanted to mention is the Best in the World Ring of Honor pay-per-view that happened here over the past 24 hours. Cody Rhodes is your new Ring of Honor World Champion. That's awesome, in my opinion. I know people will say, well, that's just one more belt being handed to the Bullet Club. But guess what? When you're the hottest thing going in the independent scene, you really can't discredit somebody for putting a belt on a guy like that. And it's not as though he doesn't deserve it. Cody has done some tremendous things since he's been out of WWE. He was doing tremendous things while he was in WWE. So the fact that people are surprised that he's being rewarded for that, they're really kind of dumbfounding me, because the guy's incredibly talented and he's worth every penny in terms of him coming around and making appearances at events. But yeah, great for him. Great for the continued evolution of the Bullet Club as it stands. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens now that he has that title, given that you've also got his involvement with New Japan Pro Wrestling and their American shows coming soon. So lots of interesting stuff there, lots of possible tie-ins with one promotion and another. So we'll have to see where all that goes. But for now, I'm looking forward to a night of professional wrestling action here in Salt Lake City, Utah. We are here at the Northwest, I think it is, Recreation Center and Family Center, Community Center, something like that, whatever it is. It's a nice building. There's a aquatic center across the way. And I think some people are starting to show up as it's approaching time for the doors to open. So I'm going to go back inside and maybe get a ticket. Maybe just sit down and enjoy a cold beverage for a little bit. Regardless, looking forward to seeing the show here tonight. And I do appreciate you guys tuning in and being a part of the Rasslin with Redbeard YouTube channel. Definitely appreciate all your likes, subscriptions, and comments. Keep them coming, folks. We're continuing to grow this channel and to do great things with it, with match videos, an occasional vlog. I know I kind of got on the maybe overboard scheme there and trying to do a daily vlog series, but regardless, we're going to keep doing stuff with match videos, the Rasslin with Redbeard main show, the Triple R podcast, tons of stuff that we're putting on this channel. So do appreciate you tuning in and for giving us your time. Let's go enjoy some wrestling. How about it? Hi. Breaking into my own show to share a few things that I actually forgot to bring up as part of the intro. As you can see, we are back home. This is a couple of days removed from when we recorded this episode of Rasslin with Redbeard. We are back home here in South Carolina now, but as I was watching the footage, I realized there were two things that I didn't bring up that I really would have liked to when we were recording that intro there originally. The biggest of the two was the announcement that was made last week while we were away that regards a talent from our part of the world being a part of a major event this summer. That is the Mae Young Classic, which WWE is sponsoring. That is going to be an all-women's tournament, similar to what they did last year with the Cruiserweight Classic. There have been a number of top independent stars already announced for being a part of that show, or the series of events, I should say. And one of them is our own Tessa Blanchard. Tessa is, as you probably know, a two-time CPWA winner for the Female Wrestler of the Year category, and we could not be more proud of her. She's made a tremendous amount of progress in her career in a very short period of time. She's all over the world, working in the Japanese market, here at home. She's been literally everywhere. So could not be more happy for her and this opportunity that she's receiving. Definitely hope that this is a breakout moment for her. Maybe going forward, this is potentially a sign of her being, who knows, maybe a full-time WWE competitor. But if that's what she chooses to be, some people, they choose to stick the independent route. And, whatever the case may be with her, we definitely wish her all the best, because she's been very helpful in a lot of things that we've done here on the CPWA front, and also just in getting the word out about some things that we've been involved with, period. So definitely want to show our appreciation to her for all that she has accomplished in her career. And the second thing that I wanted to mention is how we got to the venue that night. Okay, I know Uber and Lyft and these ride-sharing services are very popular. And when we planned on going to this event, I knew that I was going to have some type of a ride, because where we were in Salt Lake City, where our hotel was about 5 or 6 miles from where the venue was. Not a huge length of distance, or not a huge measure of distance there, but still more than you really want to walk. And I had been doing a lot of walking those couple of days, because it's a fairly compact city. You can get around very easily on foot. I'd walk 2 or 3 miles a day, if not more, getting around and seeing the sights. Had a great time. But definitely wanted to take advantage of some type of transportation service to and from the venue. So I got on Uber a couple days prior, created an account, whole 9 yards there, and scheduled rides to get me to and from the show. It's a very nifty little thing. Basically, if you've never used Uber before, you go on, create your account, and basically it picks up your GPS signal from your device that you're using and coordinates whatever rides are available based on the drivers that they have in that particular region. So, but whenever I left to go to the show, the driver who picked me up was a young male. Looked like he was in his early 20s, probably 25 tops. Was in a silver Dodge Avenger. I won't display his license plate or anything, but I will say that he was not necessarily, I'll say, distracted, but he certainly was not paying attention to the road, because not too far from the venue, there was a yield sign, which he did not seem to acknowledge in any way, shape, or form, because he went on through the intersection and, as I mentioned, did not yield, did not slow down. There was a car coming across the intersection in this direction towards me. And I kid you not, this car going this direction was full speed. Had to be in the area of 45 miles per hour. Of course, it could have been a lot less than that. It just seemed like it was a lot more fast because it's coming directly towards me. Like I mentioned, the driver I was with did not see that car until the very last second, slammed on brakes. Thank God we didn't hit each other. There might have been 3 inches of space there tops, but this car kept on going. We didn't get hit, but it's one of those things where it's like, I am never doing this again. That was my resounding reaction to that experience there. I would have had every right probably to cuss out that kid, because of the fact that he very well could have gotten me severely injured in that situation. But be that as it may, I just wanted to get through the experience, get on with the show, and move on with my life. So if you are ever in Salt Lake City and a young kid between the ages of 20 and 25 pulls up to pick you up in a silver Dodge Avenger that's got a Superman emblem in the middle of the dashboard, that was the other thing that I'll mention this kid had. Yeah, I might want to cancel that ride and pick up somebody else. But yeah, that was my Uber experience. Second driver was very nice. Second ride was very professional and very courteous. Don't have anything bad to say about him whatsoever. It actually turned out that he had spent some time in the military and was stationed up the road from where we are in Fort Jackson there. So nothing bad to say about him. That first guy, though, yeah, definitely avoid that one. On with the show.
Excuse me.
Thank you, honey. How's it going?
Hey, good about you?
Good.
Just one, please, ma'am.
Right,
10. Okay.
Yep.
Go.
No, that's not.
All right.
Right. 10 is your change. There you go. Enjoy the show.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just a couple more announcements. So, as we said, tonight's AFTERSHOCK. Coming up July 22nd, our next show will be right back here at the Northwest Rec Center. The name of the show is going to be Saints and Sinners, featuring Kevin Cross from Las Vegas, Reno Scum from Reno, Teenage Reno Scum. So, kind of where your Saints and Sinners came from. Anyway, that's going to be a great show. Kevin Cross, Lucha Underground star, AAA star, one bad son of a gun, I'll tell you that. And Reno Scum, great guy, it's going to be a fun show. August 9th will be the show following. August 19th is known as Air Assault, featuring former WCW, ECW, WWE star Juventud Guerrero. Everybody remember Hoovy, the Juice? Yeah, Hoovy, the Juice. Up-and-coming star. Come see him before he's too famous for you to come see Keith Lee. He's gonna be there someday. Promise you that. He's really awesome. Funny Bone. He's another guy from Vegas. That he's a really cool guy too. Worth the watch. So make sure you mark your calendars on those.
folks. We're halfway through the show. Had to come find kind of a quiet corner so I can give you a bit of a mid-show update here. They're blasting good old Rammstein in the arena there now. I'll go ahead and put it this way. You think you see a bad show occasionally in the Carolinas, and then you see something like this. And you really understand just how blessed we are in the Carolinas to have what we have. Yeah. People talk about dives killing the business and stuff like that. No. I think I've seen what's killing the business, and it's here in this building tonight. It's a 600-pound man who may have just sprained his ankle getting out of the ring. So, yeah. Yeah. It's funny from the standpoint of being able to see a show like this and just kind of sit back and, I won't say necessarily enjoy it, but at least see evidence of what I've been talking about here forever, that being the type of wrestling we have in the Carolinas. So it is what it is. But even so, I'm going to get a snack and see if we can enjoy the second half of the program. Appreciate you guys tuning in and enjoying our coverage of War, Utah here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Back up. Oh, I'll get you. guys should try this.
Alright, everybody. That will do it for our coverage of the Wrestling Alliance of the Rockies presenting AFTERSHOCK here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I will say this, definitely in comparison to the shows we have back home in Carolinas, Georgia, and whatnot, hard to compare. These guys were clearly coming up through their careers. We'll give them credit where credit is due. Everybody's got to learn. Everybody's got to be green for a while, and they've got to get better. I would hope that these guys continue to make progress. You know, there was clearly good displays of gear. Everybody looked like they were at least trying to express themselves in their characters. I will say that it was a little bit like a Chikara goes to Hot Topic type thing there for a little bit, at least with the first 3 or 4 matches. But now here again, effort is what it is. And they can always make progress from here. The card did pick up as it went towards the second half there. The tag team, or excuse me, the handicap match there, and also the main event were pretty good. It was funny, you know, again here to compare things in what I'm used to seeing versus here. A lot of guys with wrestling shoes and kick pads versus boots back home. The canvas even of the ring that they had here was vinyl. It was not a canvas at all. Just very interesting to see the differences between the way things are where I'm from or where we're from and out here. So did enjoy the opportunity to have a show happen in a city that we were traveling through. As I mentioned, the Open, this is something that I do look out for whenever we go on the road. We don't always have a chance to partake in something like this, so it was a neat opportunity to be able to go to a show and see what talent is out here in this part of the world. So kudos to the people who were involved there. They drew a pretty well full house, I'll say that much. I think I think the show was supposed to have originally started at 6:30. They wound up kicking off more to 6:50. The thing was, if they had started at 6:30, there would have been about 25 people there. By the time they actually did start, though, the seating was mostly full. The bleacher section that I was seated in, nobody sat in except for me. I don't know if I scared everybody off or what, but most of the seats were full. So I think they ran nachos too. So it's a good sign. Running nachos, hey, doing good business. So I do appreciate everybody tuning in and checking out this episode of Rasslin with Redbeard. I do appreciate your likes, your comments, and your subscriptions as well. As we said before, a lot going on the channel, match videos, Triple R podcast, all kinds of good stuff going on here. So I appreciate you joining me, and we will see you down the road.